Today we're gonna talk about editing secrets, and I'm gonna actually show you and edit a full video for you. And with that being said, let's dive straight into it. So once you open up DaVinci Resolve is free, so I'm gonna leave the link down below so you can just download DaVinci Resolve. And yeah, just one quick tip, I edit all of my clips in the same timeline. As you can see, it might look a bit messy. I have a bunch of reels here, and yeah, this just allows me to have a really smooth and fast workflow. So I can always I can just drag, copy and paste the same sound effects multiple times. It's very fast, very easy. I can use the same B-roll and repurpose the B-roll, just drag it over, or the text effects. For example, here we have a film burn effect, so I can drag it over and repurpose that same effect. And this allows me to actually keep a consistent look and feel on my videos. And the workflow is very fast for me. So I would recommend editing everything, especially like Reels. YouTube videos, I have a separate timeline for all of my YouTube videos, but Reels, it's very fast and efficient to edit all of your Reels on the same timeline. Then always organize your clips. Up here I organize everything by year, so I have effects here, I have music, sound effects, and so on, and then by year I have all of my clips. And yeah, that's how I organize. We are basically gonna recreate this video right here. Great. I'm not gonna make the entire video because I don't want to waste your time. But essentially, let's create this video. The biggest mistake you're making in 2025 is not creating content. Let me show you why. Look, we made over 6 figures last year from our agency, from just posting online. And here's the thing, it's completely free to create content and it only takes 30 minutes a day. You already have... So we can actually cut that out. So this is the video that we are gonna make. And the first thing I usually do is I add subtitles. So I'm gonna click I on the keyboard and then O, and now we have in and out. So I mark this section in and out. And then the thing we wanna do is we wanna go up here, click timeline and create subtitle from audio. And now we're creating the subtitles, so choose English, and I always put max 12 characters per line. And then we're gonna create the subtitles. And like that, the subtitles are created. You're making in 2025. Always double check that the spelling is correct. It's not creating content. Let me show you why. Look. So then if you click on one of these, this table in the inspector tab here up will come up. And here you have all of the subtitles. And if you click track, here you can change the font, then the thickness of the font. I like to use bold, the size, the stroke. I keep that at 0. And then drop shadow. I usually put a drop shadow to make the text pop a bit better. And yeah, that's about it. And one pro tip, if you, for example, only want to change this text to another color, you can actually select this and then press here, customize caption. And then we can, for example, change the size because let's say we want it bigger. And now it only change this section here, which is pretty cool. We can change like the color if we want to yellow. And now this is only yellow. And the reason why we do customize caption, because if we do it in this tab, it's gonna change all of the captions. But I actually want to keep it the same for now. Then the second thing that I usually do is I want to color grade my image here, because I record all of my content in S-Log3, so this gives me the most amount of dynamic range and color grading opportunity. So all you gotta do is you go to the color tab, and make sure that clips are open, and here you can see all of my previous clips. So what I do is I actually copy and paste. I press the first node here and then copy and paste it on to my new clip. So I don't need to edit or color grade, all of my clips from scratch. And yeah, that's how I quickly color grade all of my clips. And the beauty is, because I record all of my talking heads in my studio here, the lighting is gonna be always the same, so I don't need to tweak anything. But if I would have to tweak anything, I'm just gonna tweak it here and change the lighting, for example, and so on. Back to the editing tab. Let's continue here. The second thing I usually do is I want to zoom in my clip a bit. So for example, I have already here a adjustment clip that I use, but we can do this from scratch. So go to effects here, make sure effects is selected up here, and then adjustment clip, and then you can drag it over your clips. The reason why we do this is because we can just, in one clip, we can zoom in all of the clips at the same time. Otherwise, I would have to do it manually through all the clips. So it's much easier to just take a adjustment clip, and then on the adjustment clip you zoom in. So we get rid of, like, my mouse is here, a bit of my keyboard. So we just make it a bit cleaner like that. And then maybe pull myself to the side, because here we have some artwork on the wall. I want to hide that. So like that. Now it's pretty clean and looks very nice. The biggest mistake you're making is, the second thing I usually do is I want to instantly add a visual hook, so make my videos stand out a bit more. And one thing that we can do is actually press the clip, then I'm gonna make a keyframe and zoom in the clip a bit like that. Then we're gonna play the biggest back, like, or forward a few frames like that, and then again choose the clip and go back to 1 to 0, and then if we right click on the keyframe right here, we can add ease in. That's gonna make it smoother. The biggest play back, the biggest mistake, see this little zoom out. And to sell this effect even more, what I like to do is I go to Open FX and then choose Lens Blur, and then I usually put down the lens blur a bit. It's too blurry. So what I usually like to do is you click the keyframe, and then if you click this keyframe down here on the clip, this actually opens up and you can see where you put the last keyframe. So you're gonna put the playing head onto that, and if you have the magnet selected, it's gonna actually snap into that keyframe right there. And then we can drag down the blur like that, and then add another ease in. So now it looks like this. The biggest mistake you're pretty smooth. And yeah, this just draws more attention. And how to sell this effect even more is like adding a hit or a bass effect, sound effect there in the beginning. So what I usually like to do is I just drag this over like that. The biggest mistake, and make it a bit louder. The biggest mistake you're making in 2025 like is that. Not so. It's pretty impressive, and yeah, it just boom hits, and yeah, it's very nice. The biggest mistake you're making. Then what I like to do is add some text like this. The mistake you're making in 2025 is not creating content. So we can actually make that from scratch. Usually what I do is I just drag this over because I have all of the effects on them from the beginning, but let's make it from scratch. So if you go to title, make sure to select the text plus title and drag that over to your clip. Then what you want to do is I go to my subtitles and just copy this. Copy that in the biggest mistake. We're gonna press and take mistake. And we put that on another line, for example, you're making. And then we can put that on another line like that. Making it and drag that over there. 2020 making so in like that. And then what we want to do is before you go and do the rest, I want to finish this first and then we can just copy that and change the text. So what I want to do is I want to change the font. I'm gonna use my usual font here. I want to bold it. Maybe put it down a bit like that. And that should be pretty good. And now what we need to do to make it look cooler is actually go to the Fusion tab. So you select the clip and then go to Fusion tab. And this can be very overwhelming in the beginning, but I promise you this is going to be very, very simple. The first thing you want to do is press this template right here, then shift and space, and this search tool comes up. So what I usually do is I add a glow effect. So search for glow, and then glow, this one, you add that one, and now you see you have added a glow effect, but it's too bright right now. So I'm gonna make it glow size a bit bigger and then glow, bring that down a bit. That looks way better. Now we go back to template and then in tools under the inspection tab, we right click and then character level styling. And this allows you to modify the text even more. So you go to modifiers and then you just drag over and select the word that you want to change. So I want to change the biggest. Now we can actually change the font of that specific text that we selected. So I'm going to choose medium, italic. We can change the size of just that, make it maybe a bit smaller, and then transform. We can change where we want it to be. So I'm going to put it right there. Then we can actually, then I'm going to mistake. I want that to be big and bold and right in your face. So we make that a bit bigger. I add it just under that. And then we can take we can actually add that on the side. I want to make this a bit smaller. So this is going to be regular. And then I'm going to add that up there. Make it even smaller. Then we might have to make this bigger and drag that to the side. And then your to the side as well, like that. Then let's make this a medium italic. And we can make that a bit bigger. And then drag this to the side like that. So you can be really creative, just mess with this and you will find something really cool. And once you are happy with the style that you came up with, you go back to the editing tab. And now it looks like this. And for me, it's a bit too small. I want it a bit bigger and I want to center it. So I'm just going to make sure it's centered like that. Then I'm actually going to delete the subtitles that is on top here. And now what we can do is we actually press Option and then drag it to the side. So now we have copied it and we can start working on all of the other text. So let's copy this and make sure to put in 2025 and then creating content. Like that, and I'm just gonna delete that. I'm gonna drag this out, delete it, like that. And yeah, let's say I'm happy with this text. You can always go in here, so you can actually change this to, I want it to be, let's say, regular. And yeah, I'm happy with that. But here comes the secret. This is what's gonna make you stand out. We want to create an effect that one word shows at a time. So it comes like it builds up. So let's listen to the clip. So we have the biggest, and it also helps to look at the waveform. So you see when a new word comes.
Biggest
Mistake you're making in 2025 is
not
creating content. So that's about it. And now what you want to do is you select this clip right here, you scroll down to write in, write out. And now you can actually write in and write out. So let's select this one and remove content. So it pops up like this. Then we go back, take the second word, creating away, like that. Then go to the second, not away. Then here, is away. Then here, 2025 away. So now it looks like this.
in 2025 is not creating content.
Pretty cool. Now we just gotta make it to this one. So go to that one, making. So now it looks something like this.
The biggest mistake you're making in 2025 is not creating content. Let me show you why.
Pretty cool, right? So this actually stands out a lot. We have a hook, we have a text hook. It looks different. It zooms out with a blur effect, and then a bass here.
The biggest mistake you're making in 2025.
And the second thing I like to do to make it more powerful is I add a riser here and then a camera shutter after the hook. So this is gonna make it even more powerful.
25 is not creating content. Let me show you why. Look,
and another thing that we can do is we can take a film burn effect and add that after the hook here.
You why. Look, we made over 6
Pretty
figures
cool.
last year from our agency, from just posting online.
And then what I usually like to do is add in some zooms to make it more engaging. So what we can do is we can go to adjustment clip, take an adjustment clip, and I already have a preset here, so I just drag that on top here.
From our agency,
from just, and that
figures last year
zooms in like that, so it's very smooth.
From just posting online. And here's the
And you can actually find this online if you search for Magic Zoom version 3. So look online for Magic Zoom version 3 and it's completely free.
figures last year from our agency.
And that is pretty cool. And then to make it more interesting, we can add some B-roll. So let's listen to the clip and see what would actually fit into this video.
Making in 2025 is not creating content. Let me show you why. Look, we made over 6 figures last.
So I would actually add the zoom in after look, because it's like look and then it zooms in.
Why? Look, we made over,
yeah, like that.
Why? Look, we made over 6 figures last year from our agency, from just posting online.
So what we can do here, posting online, I want to emphasize those words. So what I usually like to do is I press this subtitle, check that and make it a bit bigger, like to 40 for example. Then I go to the next online and make that even bigger. So now it's gonna look something like this.
From just posting online.
So it posting online. We can make online even bigger.
See, from just posting online. See, from just posting online. And here's the thing, it's completely free to create content and it only takes 30 minutes a day.
So here it's completely free to create content and it only takes 30 minutes a day. We can add something like this, me creating content. And then again, option, I select an option and then drag. That way it's gonna copy all of the clips. And that's pretty much it. And then we just add some music to that. What you can actually do is you can go to Instagram and then find a piece of music that you like, something that's viral, and then you screen record that video, and then you just airdrop or send that to your computer and you have the audio. So that might look something like this, and you take the clip, then you cut it, take away the recording, and now you have a pretty cool sound, a trending sound. So that's usually how I do it, but let's use this one for now. And yeah, lower the audio like that. So let's watch this video now on a big screen.
The biggest mistake you're making in 2025 is not creating content. Let me show you why. Look, we made over 6 figures last year from our agency, from just posting online. And here's the thing, it's completely free to create content and it only takes 30 minutes a day.
So that's pretty much it. One thing I would add is a camera shutter when the B-roll comes in, so it looks like this.
Just posting online.
Just a small detail, just a small click, and it's gonna
posting online. And here's
make it
the thing,
up
it's
and flow
completely
better.
free to create content and it only takes 30 minutes a day.
And that's essentially it. That's how I edit my short form content. It's pretty straightforward, nothing really special. So with that being said, it's time to get back to work.